Joe Rogan.
You know who's also unhappy with Joe Rogan? It's a little someone who I think seems to be very upset that he hasn't been invited back on Joe Rogan since being on there 5 or 6 years ago. I mean, he was pretty humiliated last time he was on there. And there is nothing worse than when you are spurned by a friend. And here is Dave Rubin, sort of the living embodiment of that. And the funny part is that, like, I'm not sure what Rubin thinks, why Rogan is not being explicit about his where he's situated on the political spectrum. But here, Dave Rubin is confirming what we have said, both about Dave Rubin and Joe Rogan. These people are right-wingers. And Rubin has given up the pretense that he wasn't. And he's calling out Rogan, really, in many respects, for not owning
Being
up to the fact that he's a right-winger.
Or not doing what Dave had to do. Admit it.
Thank you, sir.
All right. So first off, did you catch that last second there? That was him over the weekend shaking hands with Joe Rogan, and big smile from Rogan and everything else. So, like, are you going to tell people, are you just not going to vote for him? Or, look, you could shake hands with somebody and not support them, but, like, what is it that you're not supporting? What is it that you don't think the Republicans are doing better? Again, all the answers really are not purely political. As you guys know, they're spiritual, they're personal, all of that stuff. But there is a political system. And if we're to participate in it, then I think you have to vote for people that are a little more in line with your values. The other reason I'm showing you that is I'm not a huge UFC guy myself, but do you think that the average person in that crowd, as you're watching all those people cheer, do you think they're old school, stodgy Republicans? Do they strike you as whiskey drinking, cigar drinking, thinking about war and money Republicans? Or are they just like people that like to watch people fight?
This is just like, you know, Dave Rubin has honestly the brain of a toddler. He has the brain of a toddler. Like, Republicans are old school Republicans are sitting around smoking cigars and, you know,
like the Daily Wire guys.
Looking at their ship in a bottle.
Right. Like the Daily Wire guys, which he would never be invited to one of their cigar leather chair hangouts because, like, he might try to have sex with one of them or something.
Yep. But he's saying that, like, aren't you amazed that UFC fans supportive of the Republican president?
So misanthropic.
It's unbelievable. What a shock.
About war and money Republicans, or are they just like people that like to watch people fight, and they're probably a little more libertarian and probably don't even care about politics largely, but they see now something in Trump? That is the point. That is, again, that wide tent thing I'm always looking for. Now check this out.
Pause it for a second. Wait. Let's just be clear on what Dave Rubin's definition of a wide tent is. Guys sitting around with cigars talking about war, all the way to guys who are going to watch other guys fight, maybe smoking cigarettes or waiting until they get outside to smoke cigarettes. This is a big tent.
Big tent. People going to NASCAR races, people going to monster truck races, and there's some football fans in there too. This is the Republican Party.
This is a big tent.
I skipped a little bit.
But it's very much actually the same thing that Rogan said up top, where the system is going after Trump. What 50 Cent is saying there is, the system. You can agree or not agree. I'm just telling you what he's saying. The system is going after black people. Has been going after black people.
That's very funny that he has to, like, distance himself from that. Exactly what I was just saying. Like,
exactly.
We're not going woke here, but for the purposes of Trump, let's just buy into a little bit of the woke stuff about the criminal justice system.
What he's saying is, look, because black people delusionally think that the system is after them, and it's actually after Trump, that's why black people appreciate Trump. Now, they're deluded, but that's what's happening.
Right.
50 Cent is saying there is, the system. You can agree or not agree. I'm just telling you what he's saying. The system is going after black people, or has been going after black people in a bit of an odd way over the years, and now we see him doing that to Trump. So Trump is our guy. So again, guys, it gets to the widening of this thing. These are groups of people. These are individuals first, and then groups of people who you would not think are all on the same side of things. I have no idea if 50 Cent and Joe Rogan agree on anything. I have no idea if 50 Cent and Donald Trump really agree on much of anything. But they are largely coming around to be like, oh, Biden and the Democrats are lunatics, so let's see if we can build something. And now, this is an interesting one, even the people who at the end of the day get it, but will still vote the other way, they're starting to freak out too. So on Bill Maher's Club Random.
Yeah, we're good on that.
Good.
It's unbelievable.
He has
wide.
room, yeah, he has room for like 8 personalities in his sort of universe of commentators.
I'm looking at like the cohort of people who are on Bill Maher's Club Random and aging rappers and Joe Rogan. And across this, I am making these broad pronouncements about what's going on in the society. And I'm really seeing it. I mean,
Right.
This
50
is-
Cent was like the only person that he was. I mean, first of all, 50 Cent, I think, has had some like real financial issues and operates as a bit of a troll in the media space. So I'm glad, he's giving them this stupid talking point. But like every other, character trait that he listed there is everything that we've traditionally associated with conservative white men, aka the entire Republican base. And he's acting like it's novel.
Dave Rubin, it seems like every election cycle needs like, I'm actually picking up on something that's happening, and I really am convinced of it. And then, like, whatever it is, a day after the election or 6 weeks after, okay, not so much. It's like the Dem exit. Remember that?
Yes. Well, it's the same. It's the entire construction of his whole career.
Yeah.
Which is that, something's happening in the Democratic Party. I'm leaving. I'm the last liberal. Then there's Dem exit. Then it's a red wave. Now
Something
it's
odd. It's like police are going after black people in a little bit of an
In an odd way.
Yeah.
In an odd way.
So
quirky.
So at the end of this episode of the Rubin Report, Dave makes one more entreaty to Rogan to put his support behind the Republicans.
Oh,
here.
good. I'm so glad we got to this.
The point is, Rogan, you get it. You get it. So if we flash that to that second clip we showed you at the top of the show of Rogan saying that Republicans are just as bad, it's just not true. So I think I proved it to you today, Joe. The choice is yours. You don't want to turn Texas, where you moved, into California that you fled. And I agree with that. That's why I live in Florida. But we also don't want to turn America into Africa. And that's what the Democrats are doing right now.
Wait, what?
Whoa.
Yeah.
How is
I look forward to
America? How
continuing
is
the
the
con-
Democrats turning America into Africa?
Black.
Yeah, I'm trying to square this with the whole police just go after black people in an odd way comment.
A bit of an
Donald
odd
Trump
way.
is picking up like a non-African black people because they don't want it to go turn into Africa. Come on, Joe, just what you're doing.
He's a nasty racist, huh?
What? Like what?
He's a Zionist.
Yeah.
Duh.
What does he even mean? Like, what does that mean? Africa.
Well, it's because he's doing the whole spin on Trump's that we're becoming a third world country, but he's like, I'm gonna push the limit here. They loved. I mean, they say the same version of the same crap all the time, right? But then there's an attempt to try to differentiate yourself and maybe be a little bit more racist, push the limits here. He's been making the rounds.
He was in New York
Rubin.
recently.
He was on Megyn Kelly's show. He was on the Russell Brand show. We played that, right?
Doing a
Yeah.
barnstorming trip. Wait, was he on Russell Brand's show or was Russell Brand on his show?
No, he was on Russell Brand's show.
Well, wait.
No, it was. I saw that stupid COVID logo.
Right. That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Although he was doing most of the talking, it was weird.
I mean, Russell could not be more like. It is funny to see whether it's Megyn Kelly or Russell Brand or obviously Ben Shapiro, who maintains like I would never come to your anniversary party, let alone come to your wedding. They all have contempt for him, and he just can sit there and take it. He'd be
what he's paid
the
by
hardest
Rumble to do.
person. Well, maybe not because he's mentally weak, but like he can take a lot of physical pain if he needs to. And,
Right, I mean-
emotional and like he really can sit there and maybe it doesn't register to him that they have such like
Well, do you
contempt for
remember when
him.
Larry King? Remember that
Yeah.
scene when Larry King was on?
Took a
He
cell phone
interviewed
call?
Larry King back when
Yes.
Rubin was trying to pretend like he wasn't a right wing shill, and King is literally on his cell phone during the middle of this interview, and going like, "Just give me 1 second."
Literally, he was asking about his like nephews or whatever, like baseball game, and not just saying like, "How'd the game go?" It was like, "Oh, and then what'd you bat?" Like follow up questions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we
I
have the
mean-
beginning of this Rogan thing where he's talking about his experience in New York, which also it stuck out to me when I watched this yesterday.
The Rubin Report, and yes, I survived a couple days in New York City. As always, we are live streaming on Rumble, YouTube, and Locals. Share, subscribe, tap that notification bell, post-game wrap-up, RubinReport.locals.com. And if you sign up at Locals, absolutely free, you will now get our new newsletter, which has insider information. What am I eating? What am I drinking? What am I wearing?
Oh, wow.
What am I listening to? You can find out RubinReport.locals.com. And yes, I survived New York City. We were there for a couple days. I did Megyn Kelly's show. That was actually in Connecticut. Did Greg Gutfeld, of course. Did Jesse Kelly. A couple other Fox shows. Bounced around the city a little bit. And I will say, we're going to get into a bit of this later on in the show. I will say, at times during the day in New York City, it felt a little more normal to me, a little bit more like it used to feel, although right around dusk, it's very bizarre. Something shifts. The business people all disappear and the zombies come out. And it's like this weird cross-section of like fentanyl addicts, jihadists, African migrants, and a bunch of people wearing hoodies looking for drugs. A good time for everybody. Anyway, the theme, I'm glad.
These are hysterical people.
Where is he hanging out?
Where is he? Times Square?
Yeah, I think he might be just standing in the middle of Times Square.
I mean, what New York does he remember? What are you talking about?
He's a
This is just,
racist,
like,
hysterical shut-in.
He
He never
fell as-
sees people besides he's in
Yeah.
Uber all the time.
No, he fell asleep to the Thriller video and thought that was his exact experience.
He's like that mega church pastor who is like in private jets all the time. He's like, I'm not going to be in a tube with all these demons. Like, I
Oh,
need a
yeah.
jet. That's what
Right.
Dave Rubin is on. He's on that trajectory.
Right. He can't because he was getting questioned about why he takes private jets everywhere as a mega pastor, and he said that he would
I got a
be
good deal on it from Tyler Perry, and I'm not going to be in a tube with all these demons.
demons. Yeah.
I mean, look, I've been on some bad flights before, so I kind of get it.
We should probably do this story about Steve Bannon. Did you guys talk
Yes.
about this yesterday? Or
No, this is awesome, though.
No, it broke after it happened after the show. I think his the judge basically saying that he's got to go to jail.
All right. Well,
Isn't
ladies-
this kind of what Trumpers and QAnoners thought Trump was going to do to his opposition?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, we book Bannon.
well, I mean, Bannon it's amazing. This is the only thing he's going to jail for. Bannon was convicted of contempt of Congress because he refused to give testimony over the from the to the House committee that was investigating the January 6th insurrection at the Capitol, and he was convicted. I don't know what was he convicted in October of 2022. So it's been almost a year and a half, and he was allowed to remain free while appealing this case. He's lost his appeals. I guess this was a month or two ago. And was it yesterday that he was basically sentenced to prison? I'm a little bummed that he's getting like 3 weeks to get his stuff in order. He's been out for a long time. I'd say go directly to jail. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.